When macaws bite, which she's headless, so maybe this isn't an issue. Hey guys, what do you do when what I call your Mac monster bites? I'm Kaylin, the author of The Parrot Bond, Get to Know African Grey and Cape Parrots, Feathered Splendor, and 30 Perfect Apartment Parrots, plus coloring books. So hopefully, if you want to do some therapy, some de-stressing, or if you have a little kiddo that you're looking for a gift for, check out my links below. Now, one of the most important things, let's first start with, I like to distinguish between beaking and biting. So biting is intending harm. They're trying to cut your skin. There's something defensive or angry going on there. And it's, again, just, it's like it has a force and it's really trying to bite. Beaking, like she just did, doesn't cut you at all, although with a big macaw, it doesn't feel like a massage, but it isn't like she's feeling scared or, you know, there's nothing like that going on. So I'm not getting a bite, I'm getting a beak. Why do they beak? This is their handshake. This is their way of experiencing the world. This is their way of trying to get you in line, which I'll explain more in a minute. So with a smaller parrot, it's not too bad. And frankly, guys, I have two parrots that kind of beak a lot, like this Mac monster. Come here, now you're not in the video. And she's one, and my golden conure is the other. So one of the things that I'm going to try to show you is that if you are comfortable with your parrot and you're this close to them, one of the things I do is I grab their beak like this and I lift, because then they can't put pressure down. So I don't do it to hurt them, but it's sort of my way of saying, you can bite me, but I'm going to stop that because I don't want you to bite me. So if you can do that, that is a really helpful thing. And I find it works with my kayaks as well. I have one kayak who's kind of going through her teenage rebellion. Look at Sam also just grabbing her beak, and she doesn't like that either. Okay, be nice. So why do they bite or beak? Biting, of course, can happen when something's wrong. They're lonely, they're stressed out, they're being defensive, they're hormonal and they're being defensive. Gentle. Do you see how it's easy to do? But she uses that lower mandible to dig into me, and that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. No, don't do that. Don't do that, monster. No. Biting can happen when they're scared, as we said, that kind of thing. When they're hormonal and they're defending something, then you've got to be really careful. When they're hormonal, for real, like really hormonal, you've got a mama bear kind of thing, whether your parrot is male or female. Come on, step up. Step up. Thank you. And when they're hormonal, they're in a different mode, and it's kind of like someone coming in and attacking your kids or something like that. And you're gonna go into a mode and be like, you're gonna put your life on the line to protect your eggs or your children. So that is that kind of mode, and you need to kind of understand and respect it in the sense that that's just human nature. Everyone's gonna protect their kids. Now, if you are petting anywhere below where my hand is now, you can be encouraging hormonal behavior. If I was petting her on her back, her wings, under her wings, on her tummy, certainly on her bottom, if I was doing anything back there, I am stimulating hormonal behavior. So be really careful, because if your parrot is getting aggressive and it's really the result of you petting them, that's really not their fault. So you want to be really careful and aware of that. My 10-minute rule. When a parrot, well, in the wild, parrots are with their flock, and in their flock is usually their bonded mate, unless they're young and they don't have one yet. And here, come on, let's see, go here. There you go. Most experts will tell you not to put them on, oh, she didn't get on my shoulder. On your shoulder, I would agree. Rosie and I have a bonding trust. I'm comfortable, I'm not uncomfortable. Okay, so In the wild, they spend all of their time with their flock. I don't know if they really get beyond the ability to hear their flock. And that's one reason why in the wild, parrots, when they squawk, it's really loud. It can be heard for whatever it is, half a mile. It's so that they can stay in communication. So that means that when they are bonded to us and they're not with us 24/7, my observation is that my parrots get kind of excited. It's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in a half hour, or I haven't seen you in 8 hours since you were sleeping. And certainly, like if you go to work or something like that, or you go on vacation, you've basically abandoned them. And so it's like, they're like, oh, I didn't know what happened to you. They get into a heightened state of excitement or anger. You abandoned me. Excitement. Oh, I haven't seen you for 10 minutes. I'm so happy to see you. And 10 minutes might be exaggerated, but their responses aren't. That is where they're at because they're used to 24/7. So for the first 10 minutes, in my observation, that my husband has noticed that too with his birds, the first 10 minutes, it's like they're just trying to grab at you and, oh, I missed you, and oh, and that's going to include beaking, which doesn't feel good. If you could see my arm's not bad, you could see some red, that's from beaking, being beaked earlier today. So that's going to cause the biting, and there's not much you can do about that. The more you spend time with your parrot, and I don't mean time petting, I mean time just being around your parrot. You're in the same room with you. It's actually good when they're doing their own thing. Not that that should be all the time, but you know, you spend some time closely bonded or bonding and some time just sort of coexisting, which they would do in the wild, right? In the wild, they're going to spend some time not next to their mate, and then some time right there preening their mate. And so right now, that's what's going on. I'm preening her. We got past the 10 minutes and she calmed down. So spending time with them makes a really big difference, and it'll help them feel more safe and secure. Another surefire remedy is to have two parrots. They will bond more deeply with each other once you've introduced them correctly, assuming that their temperaments match, their ages match, and there are some exceptions to all of this. But then they've got part of the flock that's with them all the time, and it tends to bring down some of, we'll call it the anxiety of, I was all alone, because then they have someone to bond with. And it varies from species to species, but with our Mac monsters before that we had two Macaws together. Because they were together, they were great. When we spent time with them, that was great, but they did fine on their own, and they didn't like necessarily be like, oh my God, I've missed you. Last thing, when your parrot has bonded to a person, because we only have Rosie now, and she has been bonding to me, she has decided that I am her mate. One of the things that happens is if you're hanging out with your significant other and some other hussy approaches you, you're gonna get defensive, and that can be a beaking. So lately, Rosie's afraid that my husband's gonna take Rosie away from me, and so she has started to bite him a little more, and so we're working with that. But we know it isn't a mean, nasty thing. It isn't a defensive thing. This is a different kind of defensive thing. This is, hey, this is my mate. And when they're in that mode, they're going to actually sometimes bite their mate or bite the other person because they're putting everyone in line. This is how you're supposed to behave, because you're mine and no one else can touch you. As a matter of fact, everyone else should social distance because you're mine. Yes, a little possessive. So when you're dealing with your macaw biting or beaking, you have to look at why are they doing it. And hopefully everything I've said has given you maybe some ideas as to why. Spend time out observing when your macaw bites, why they bite, whether they're really beaking or biting, to start to understand what's going on, because that's going to start to help you understand what to do about it. I showed you how I gently lift so that, kind of like a can opener, so that instead of bearing weight down, you know, we're going in the opposite direction. There's another beak. And hopefully that helps you today. Like I was saying, my Kaik, who's like going through her James Dean period, she really bit into me, and I did that with her, and you could see I have like one little nick, but there wasn't any blood or anything, and she really was biting into me. But I did that with her, and I got her to stop. And I was like, okay, this is awesome, because someone had asked me how to deal with a macaw that bites, and this is actually something I do, and I like didn't even realize it. So I hope that helps you greatly, because getting your Mac Red or your Mac Monster not to bite is priceless. Now, in case you're wondering like why I have this funny little white thing here, that will probably be tomorrow's video. If you look in, this is a spoiler alert. There is Binks, our youngest little sugar glider, and she's here because I'm using my body temperature to keep her warm. So she's in layers of fleece to keep her warm. Why? What happened? And did I get scammed? Which is going to be the title of tomorrow's video. Check it out. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to. If you enjoyed me being beaked and me opening my can opener, please be sure to give me one of these. If you want to check out my links, check out breeders that I recommend. I'm starting to list them below, whether you're looking at a sugar glider in Florida or a parrot. And a lot of my parrot breeders will, I say I know them, I trust them, I've gotten birds from them, I don't want you to get scammed. A lot of them will ship. My favorite rescue, Bird Gardens of Naples, links to my books, that kind of thing. And then I will catch you in the next beaky video. Thanks for watching, guys. She says, pat me, pat me.